Welcome in, everybody. This is your host, Charlie Castro. I want to thank you for joining me today. This is going to be just a short 10-12 minute video, so try to hang with me here for the next few minutes. We're going to be talking about tax deed buyer and how they may be able to benefit you in the future in looking to acquire REO properties. If you've noticed, like we have over the last 12 to 18 months in particular, you've seen a diminishing amount of inventory on the market. It's getting more difficult to acquire inventory, whether it be from our bank sources or whether it be through, the private REO vendors that are out there or just a myriad of wholesalers across the country. It's just getting harder to find good inventory. We're going to be talking about tax deeds today. And if you didn't know this, there's over 3,000 tax deed sales per year. When I say that, I'm not talking about 3,000 properties per year sold. I'm talking about 3,000 tax deed sales all across the country each year. In Florida alone, we see about 1,200 properties a week are available in that state. It's not easy to find. This is not finding a tax deed property is not an easy thing to locate. The sales are generally done by the county, the municipalities. Generally, when you get the information from that particular county or municipality, you're only getting parcel numbers, so you're not really getting a lot of details in the property. So it's not easy inventory to find. Let's first talk about what a tax deed is. And if you're like us, we were first exposed to tax deeds in the last few years, and we would hear the term, weren't really clear as to what it was. We certainly recognized there was an opportunity there for people to be able to buy tax deeds or at the tax deed sales and be able to acquire property for a really good price and whatnot. But let's talk about what a tax deed is first. So if a property owner doesn't pay their taxes, the counties will place a lien on that property, otherwise known as a tax lien certificate. Some state statutes will allow counties to sell those certificates. Others require the counties to hold them directly. If a property owner continues to not pay their taxes, a tax foreclosure can occur. Some counties handle that foreclosure directly, and others place that responsibility on the tax lien certificate holder. And the resulting deed from a tax lien foreclosure is a tax deed. So what's the reality of buying tax deeds? Well, first of all, in most states, and there are a few exceptions like Ohio, but you're not getting insurable title from the county. So that's one distinction between buying a tax deed versus buying an REO. Generally, on an REO, you can get insurable title, and then of course there's options how to cure that. You can do a title certification, a quiet title action. You are not buying properties for pennies on the dollar. It's an important thing to note. It does vary by property types, but typically single-family properties sell for 50% of market value. Now, when you say 50% of market value in this market, that means you're getting a really good deal on a single-family residence or a multifamily or whatever it may be. 50% of market value is what we were seeing, from 2012 to 2015, 16 maybe. And now, regardless of who you're getting your properties from, you're paying, depending upon whether it's a bank, well, if it's a bank, for example, you're paying 80 to 95% of fair market value. If you're buying from a private REO vendor, even some of our more consistent REO providers of inventory over the last 5 years are now between 75 and 90% of fair market value. So you're not buying these for pennies on the dollar, but in this market, 50% of market value is some really good value. Another thing to note, very, very few properties are in A-type properties or in A-type neighborhoods. And that's an important thing to point out. These are foreclosed on due to multiple years of back taxes. They're probably not going to, they're probably going to be in rough shape, and they're going to be in lower grade areas. So if you're that flipper looking for that $100,000 property in the sort of the higher end neighborhoods for a flip or rehab and a hold, you're probably not going to find that in a tax deed. Mortgages do get wiped out in most all states during the foreclosure process. However, many liens do survive: municipal liens, code violations, IRS liens. So after you've acquired the information, hypothetically, let's say from the county, you then have to do your due diligence. That includes, searching for liens, code violations, all those sorts of things. Now, how do you buy a tax deed property? Well, first of all, every county in the U.S. has a method to get delinquent tax deed properties back in the tax roll. Typically, you can call and get the list of parcel IDs from the county. The departments will vary, but you can call the county and get the parcel IDs that are being sold off. Then you have to look up each parcel ID individually. You need to find out which might be worth buying, which aren't. Yes, you can get into a situation where you're looking at a piece of strip of sidewalk, for example. It may be priced really inexpensively, but then you have to do your due diligence and realize, well, do I really want to buy that property or that strip of property, even though it's priced really well? So the point in this is there's a lot of due diligence that goes into acquiring a tax deed property. So the question becomes is you can go through this process, or this is what you would traditionally have done up to this point, which is to go through the due diligence process on your own, get the information from the county, or You can utilize the services of others who will aggregate that for you, which is Tax Deed Buyer, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So this is the only nationwide tax deed research software available. This is new. This is new to us. It'll be new to you. We're just now rolling this out. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through a number of slides, and to the left there's going to be some bullet points. To the right there's going to be a picture of the screenshot of the portal, and yes, that's what we're talking about here, is getting access for you, our buyer, to have access to this portal to be able to get all the information that you would need in order to acquire a tax deed property. So you can literally search thousands of properties across multiple states, and you can search by all the things that are listed there: state, county, city, property type, etc. And yet what that does include, and it's a very important feature of the software, is that means you can just search for, beds, bath in this state or in this county or in this city. You can search specifically just by those things. You can narrow your search down to be very narrowly focused on what you're specifically looking to buy. You can do some quick filtering, utilize mapping to be able to get an idea of the target areas that you're looking at. So the software will be able to give you a picture of exactly where the property is you're looking at, narrow down the properties to those that fit your exact model that you're looking to buy. If you prefer Excel, you can export this and filter. You can export it into an Excel file and download onto a spreadsheet like you see there below. So you can put everything on a spreadsheet. You can export back if you want to. But if you prefer Excel, you can download that and view the information in that manner. Property details, it gives you a lot of information on property details. If you recall, we talked about a moment ago, we talked about when you get the information from the counties on these properties, you're not going to get a lot of information. It's up to you. So the tax deed portal gives you a whole lot of information, including property characteristics like lot size, the stories, the units, all the information provided by the counties will be provided on the portal, the tax deed portal. It will give you property valuations. It will give you assessed values, market values, the county, and coming soon we'll also have the link to the MLS. Now, why is that important? Well, if you have access to the MLS through the tax deed portal, you're going to be able to see exactly what that property is selling for. You give you some ideas on similar type properties in that market that you're buying in. What are similar properties selling for? So having the MLS, there's some other coming attractions as well we'll talk about in a few slides, but one of the things that we will be adding to the portal soon will be having access as well to the MLS. Property details is a very important slide. Mortgages and notes. So it's going to give you information on first and second mortgages. Now those are wiped out from the tax deed process, but it's very useful to have. And it's important to know that what's really important about this is that it's going to tell you what mortgages and loans were previously on that property, which is an incredibly important piece, because if an underwriter, who generally goes through a lot of due diligence before they underwrite a property and provide a loan to a property, due diligence has been done and that a lender was willing to loan X amount on that property, 3, 4, 5 years ago, it gives you a really good snapshot of what the value of that property would be. It even gives you things like environmental hazards on the subject property, hazards that could be of concern nearby, just the overall risk of the area. It will give you all of that information if it's in a flood zone, for example. And then it gives you sales history, which is an important thing to have, again, because it's going to tell you not just the history of that house, but history of other houses that could have sold similar to the property you're looking at. So let's say you're looking for a property in Jacksonville, Florida. It's going to tell you were there properties similar to that sold at the tax deed sale previously. Now that's incredibly important, because it's not only going to give you information about the property itself, it's also going to tell you what you could potentially be looking to pay at the auction. So if you're looking at something and you have that sales history, you've got it by parcel. Has the property been a tax deed sale in the past? By that zip code, what other similar properties sold in this zip code? By the county, what other similar properties have sold in this county? So it's going to give you all of that, which tells you two things: value of the property, yes, when considering your bid amount, but also it's going to give you what that property sold for previously, which gives you a pretty good indication of what you're going to need a bid on as well to be able to acquire that property. It gives you parcel mapping, and when I first saw this slide, I was confused by it. But yes, to the right there, you see a little strip of water. You can see the blue mark where it's outlining the property, the subject property that would be for sale at the tax deed. And yes, these situations can happen. So it does allow you to utilize all those Google features to be able to zero in. To your left there, you see the blue around the properties for sale, so you can see exactly what the parcel mapping looks like on each particular property, so that you're not getting into something like you could potentially be on the right here, which is buying a piece of land or marshland or whatever that is. You can categorize properties. It's very important. If you look to the right there in that red box, there's a little box there where you can make your tags. So you can export that if you'd like to as well. So you can make your notes, you can keep those notes, refer back to those later. So it allows you to store all that information. You've done your due diligence, you've made your notes in this box, and allows you to save that to come back to at a later time. It also is going to tell you how to attend the sale. We're going to talk about how you buy properties in a second, but it's going to tell you when the sale is, where the sale is, who to contact for that sale, and the size of the sale. So it's going to give you all that information that's going to allow you to be able to attend the sale and acquire the property that, by the way, you'll have probably more information on than most anybody else at the sale, because you're going to have access to this portal and all the information that it provides for you. These are sort of the coming attractions that we have. So coming soon to the website, things you can look forward to down the road. Property visits. If you're not local to the property, we would have someone to do an assessment and take pictures for you. Lien search is very important. If there are liens that survive the tax foreclosure, you need to account for those when you're making your offer. Very important piece of information to have. The tax deed portal will have that information available for you. And then also, as I mentioned a few slides ago, the MLS will be on there. You'll be able to see what fully rehab, market-ready homes are selling for in the immediate area. So it gives you a very good idea to make an intelligent decision as to what to bid on the property. So you have all that information in the tax deed portal. Now, also coming will be the ability to buy through the tax deed website remotely. So you don't have to attend the auction. That's coming down the road. It's going to be available soon. We're really looking forward to that. Now, how do you get started? So the purpose of this 10, 12-minute video today was simply to just get your interest, pique some questions that you may have, and then set up a demo. That's what our goal was to do, just get your interest in it, give you a little bit of information about what a tax deed is, how you can benefit from it, and set up a demo with you where we can share our screen, be able to show you the portal, and just show you exactly how the software works. Pricing is incredibly inexpensive. This is not an expensive thing. We're going to be starting somewhere around $69 a month. It'll be a 12-month agreement, so $6,900 a month will be the bottom number. Now, that bottom number is probably going to be one county and one state. We don't have all 50 states open yet. This is going to be going out to only people. We're going to narrowly target market in the states that we're currently in. So if you're getting it, you can almost guarantee the state that you buy in is a state that we're already open in. And it will increase. So for example, if you want to buy the whole state of Florida, the whole state of Texas, by county, that price will go up. But $70 to $1,000 a month would be your ceiling probably to be able to buy a bulk group of properties to be able to view in the markets that you buy in. So we look forward to scheduling a demo. You can contact us at support@taxdeedbuyer.com. If you mention my name, you get a 10% off discount off your first 3 months. This will be going out to our buyer base as well. And most of you know myself and Matt. So if you want to give us a call, 714-681-4454. We'd love to be able to set that demo up with you. So with that, I want to thank you for hanging with me for the last 10 minutes. Hope you have a great day. Look forward to talking to you real soon.